Welcome to the Two Squirrel Podcast with your hosts, Wilbur and Liam.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Two Squirrels Podcast. Today's topic is how to come up for air. When you work, how do you force yourself to take a break? So, Liam, how you doing, man?
Oh, I need a break. You see these bags right now under my eyes, man? I need a break. Like the one thing, and I know you do it, and I know a lot of us professionals that do it that are out there, no matter the business, we all just work, and never take the time off. Right. So that kind of brings us to what you and I were kind of touching base before we obviously started recording. You brought up the 12-week work year. Mm-hmm. And as we were talking about it, you know, we did our previous podcast, we talked about 90 days of pain, because guess what? 12 weeks is 90 days. So, that's right. So I know you kind of bounce from, you know, you attempt to do the 12-week work. You do your best, of course, you go for it. But then whenever that pause comes, you just go right back into work instead of taking a pause. So tell me a little bit why you take a pause.
So why do I attempt to take a pause?
Yeah. You know what? Let's rephrase it. Why do you attempt to take a pause?
I mean, you work hard, you play hard, right? Mm-hmm. So, and if you're a self-motivated person like I am, you put in a lot of work. I mean, you get up at 4 a.m., you work all day, and then I'm a single dad, so I'm taking care of my kid at the same time, and there's a lot going on. And then she's getting ready to go to school and all of that. So there's a lot going on in your life. So mentally, you have to make those breaks just as important as the drive you put into your work life, mm-hmm. I think. And sometimes we forget about that, because if you're an entrepreneur like me, if you don't get paid unless you sell something, right?
Yeah.
So that, to me, that knowing that is like, how do I not answer this phone call? How do I not go show this house? How do I not go do these things? And I'm the broker, so I have 20 other agents that I could possibly turn this stuff to, but I don't do it, right? I don't do it, and I go and I keep going and I keep going. So it's a challenge to say, hey, Wilbur, stop, go take a week's vacation, you know, go unplug. Like, how do you mentally make yourself do that? That is a big challenge for me.
Yeah, it is. It's for a lot of people. I know specifically talking about my coaching program that I do, the life and business coaching that I do. I have to literally build in with the way whether we're working purely on life coaching or purely working on business coaching, I have to help my clients work in time to take off, because let's be real. And here in the United States, it's that hustle harder mentality, right? You got to hustle until people are begging to work for you type mantra. And I'm like, that's great, but that's also how you burn out. And then your competition actually surpasses you because they're taking a break.
It's kind of funny. I like how you mentioned here in the United States, because I look back at foreign countries and foreign people that I know, and the standard for them is they take a month. Like when they get a job, they automatically get 4 weeks vacation.
That's great, isn't it?
For us, it's like we get 2 weeks vacation on our job. We're like, woo, that's good. Like, wow, 2 weeks vacation, that's great. But they start out in other countries with 4 weeks of vacation.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we've been programmed to have this workload sort of mentality. Mm-hmm. Like we always got to be on the go all the time. And it's not like that in other countries.
Yep. And I like the fact that you point out that, you know, we're happy to get 2 weeks, where, you know, like you said, other countries, they can get 4 weeks. And I've heard even longer than that in some places, or a 4-day work week in some countries now, you know. And I like that's going on, and that is helpful. But you ever notice when you do take 2 weeks off and you go on vacation, about 3 or 4 days in, you're ready to go back to work. You're like, all right, I'm good to go. But that's because, like you said, that programming since birth, essentially, that we should be out here hustling hard and going strong and nonstop. But that's how you burn out. That's if you don't take time to recharge your batteries, that's how you burn out. And if you're burning out, how are you doing your job at its fullest extent? Think real estate, Will. You know, we have to go hard in real estate because you take time off. And we talked about it in one of our previous episodes of 90 Days of Pain. every day you wake up is a new 90-day set. And if you're taking time off, you're losing money, right? But just imagine getting and that's really called survival mode. Now imagine getting to a point of called thriving mode, where that way you can take off and money is still coming in. That would feel great, right?
That would feel wonderful. I remember sitting in a class one time, a training, and this guy was up there talking. I can't remember his name, but this guy was up there talking, and he said that he made $1 million in 4 hours. Whew. While he was in the class, he made $1 million in 4 hours. And I remember thinking to myself, I got to do something better with my life. like something needs to change, because that is the mentality we need to have. How do you make money and you're not physically out there hustling like that, right?
Mm-hmm. The first thing popped to my head, this guy has a really active OnlyFans account. That's what I was like, he's got it.
I think this was for years prior to OnlyFans. So there was no OnlyFans at that time.
But yeah.
But he did own a business, and he obviously had other people working for him. But he when he said that, and it wasn't the fact that he made so much money in such little time. It was, how do I make that shift to where my mechanisms are working for me even when I'm not working, right?
Yeah. It's almost like the thought of passive income, correct? And we all know passive income is a very overinflated term, right? You still have to put in the work. You still have to get the money going. You still have to get it, effective. And one thing I hear a lot about passive income, they're like, oh, well, I want money to kind of roll in and I'm not working. Well, you're still working. So, get that thought out of your head. You just might not be as integrated as much as you would be your primary business. So you may just have like a fingertip in that business versus your whole hand. And I think that's great whenever you can develop something like that, or a pass, like often in real estate specifically, it's building a team, right? You build a team to help you create essentially your exit plan. So you're not constantly selling, but you have people there working with you and for you and developing that type of process so you can slowly back out, get to manage the company or ownership or whatever you're trying to achieve.
Right. And it's building the right team, because there's mental drain too, right? When you don't have the right people on your team, and I actually mentioned this to somebody else, you can put people on your team and you're out in the middle of the ocean trying to build something, and they're punching holes in the ship. Right?
Yes.
So they know they're going to drown, but they're going to drown you with them. Right?
They might use as a life raft, as Rose did with Jack in the Titanic. There was room on that damn door, right? Like she could have moved over. You ever hear of spooning, Rose? Thank you, Rose. You killed Jack. Totally screwed up.
Maybe she wasn't ready for that type of commitment.
No, I'll never let go. Crack, 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 as Jack sinks to the bottom.
But yeah, it's like mental drain is tough too. When you're putting in all these hours and you're constantly on the go, and you're not getting enough sleep, and it's like, how do you get? I think that is, to me, that's worse than the physical drain. Like, how do you make sure you're taking care of yourself? Like, again, health wise, we talked about that too. Like, how are you taking care of your mental health, your physical health? How are you putting all that in at the same time?
Yeah. Absolutely. It's like you said, I think that was one of our first few episodes. So for our listeners, go back, listen to that, because Will was talking about a lot of personal things that has happened to him that relate to health and constantly on the go. You got to take downtime. So for example, in my coaching company that I own, Liam Pierce Coaching, every Wednesday I have off. Like I'm not taking clients, not that because, I don't want extra business. It's that's my downtime. I have to split up the week so that way I can come and bring my best every single time for my clients. And even when I was in real estate sales, a year and a half ago, it was the same thing. I'm not going to work 7 days a week whenever I'll wear out. I have to come up for air. I have to recalibrate. I have to bring the best version of myself. And even touching back on the coaching, whenever I have coaching clients that are realtors, I tell them like, look, If you're waking up and you automatically have a shitty day and you're trying to do the mindset, you're trying to do some gratitude stuff to really recalibrate, but you're still feeling off, I'm like, don't make calls that day. Just don't. Send some emails. That's the perfect day for emails or text messages. Because if you make a call, that's going to transcend through the call and it's not going to go well.
So you take every Wednesday off. And now that I know that I'm going to be calling you on Wednesdays. So you take every Wednesday off. And, I got agents that take Fridays off, Sundays off. And I try to take the weekends off. And one thing you constantly hear from people is like, what if your client wants to, for us, like see houses? Like, what if they want to see houses on the weekend? And the way that I teach them is you set the tone up front, right?
Yes.
When you're sitting in front of your client, you take control at that moment and you tell them, hey, I don't work on Friday. like they don't, like when they call their doctor, they're not telling their doctor, hey, I can't come see you on Friday. Do you have Monday available? Right? They don't say that. They say, the doctor say, hey, I have these dates and times. Can you work? Will that work for you? And then they slide into one of those slots. Yeah. I think that we forget that we should have the same sort of professionalism with what we're doing.
Yep.
Would you agree?
I agree. And if I recall, Will, you do that with clients. You have a Calendly link, and that's a hard word to say, Calendly. Wow. Anyway, if I recall, you do set that up. You send it to your clients so that way they're picking a time that's good for them and it's on your schedule. Right. So I think it's imperative. And if you do, like I know in the beginning, specifically in real estate or any business that you're starting yourself, you're just putting all that extra time in, you're working as much as you can to get a quicker return. But if you decide, in this case, like Will was talking about, if you decide you have to go on a weekend, then take it away from somewhere else in the week. Make it up to yourself, right? You owe that to yourself. So if you happen to work 3 hours on a Saturday, but you're really trying to take Saturdays and Sundays off, take those 3 hours out of a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, anywhere. Break up an hour each day, whatever it is, but create that balance so you can have that recuperation.
Man, automation is a wonderful thing. So you mentioned that Calendly.
Right? See, it's not me. I thought it was me.
So you mentioned Calendly. So and hopefully they'll contact us and we can get some royalties off of that. But anyway, you mentioned Calendly. Like having things like that in place, I think helps tremendously. When I can just shoot you my calendar and you can go in and you can physically look at it and say, okay, he's free at 2 p.m. on Thursday, and plug that in. And I know automatically I'm meeting you for an hour face-to-face in my office at that time. I mean, those sort of things help me free up time tremendously.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, I use Calendly for my coaching practice. Because for the audience, I also own a real estate franchise as well, even for our agents that work with us. Yes, you want an appointment, set an appointment. I am available, of course, but it's going to be more effective if we can plan it out. Because it's the same thing with your, like Wild Will here was saying about, with clients, if you're setting the pace, it becomes more controllable for everybody. Because instead of like, say a first-time home buyer, like, oh, I want to see all 50 properties. Well, first off, bro, that's not going to happen. That is impossible. So how about we do a process of elimination? You pick your top 3 that you really like, and we start there. And we can always work our way backwards. But here's the time frames that I'm available to do it. And that creates effectiveness for them. And like Will said, if you set that pace up front, it's a lot easier. And all of this method to our madness here ties in with slowing down, coming up for air, taking a mini vacation, the 12-week year, which is a fantastic book. Highly recommend it. Hopefully they toss us some money for dropping that one. You know what I'm saying? But it's a fantastic book. And I see tons of programs out there trying to mimic it and rip it off and everything. Just read the original. And I'm sure they borrowed ideas from other people. Everybody does. But nonetheless, it's a great book. It's a quick read. And it's literally every 90 days, you work your ass off for 90 days, and then you take a vacation. And then you come back and you work your ass off again, and then you take a vacation every 90 days, 12 weeks. Sorry, I ruined the book for you, but there it is.
So the drawback to having these great apps and everything and is actually putting them in place, right?
Yeah.
So we can sit and we can talk about Calendly and all these great apps, and we can throw their names out there. But if you never physically go look at them and put them into your systems and plug in and learn them, then it's all for naught,
Yeah.
right? So it's got to be something that you say today, hey, I want to do something different tomorrow and for my future. Like I can't
Yes.
keep living my life the same way. I need to change something.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I agree. There's a lot of ideas out there. There's a billion and one apps. There's tons of different softwares out there, but ask yourself, what do you really need? What can actually benefit you? What can help you? Because that's what these things are designed for. It's the same thing. I know there's a lot of people going crazy about, chat GPT and AI. And I'm like, listen, first off, AI has been around a lot longer than you're even realizing. They're just now
Mhm.
letting it out of the cage officially. It's been around for a
Right.
long time. I remember as a kid, and I'm 42, remember as a kid playing a video game with adaptive AI where it would adapt to your play style. AI's been around a long
Mhm.
time, right? And a lot of people fear it, and I get where that's coming from. We all seen Terminator, right? So I get that. I don't want Skynet to happen, although if anybody's going to do that, it's going to be Elon Musk for sure. Um, but you can use ChatGPT as a tool to help you increase work productivity, to unstuck yourself. Like, for example, if you're stuck in writing, literally take what you want that you're stuck at, type in GPT and ask for ideas. It'll just unlock it.
Right.
You don't have to copy and paste, and you shouldn't. You should honestly add your own flavor, but at least it helps you through. So just like Calendly,
Right.
Lee, these are all tools in order to help you have more downtime when needed.
Right. I mean, yeah, then they are some amazing tools, but again, you got to learn it
Yes.
and you got to be open minded and you got to put it in place.
Yes.
And I think that's where a lot of us fall short because I do a lot of
Mm-hmm.
training and I get up in front of a bunch of people and I train them on some of these systems, but they never go implement.
Mm-hmm.
So I always tell people there's two parts of education. There's actually the education part where you're sitting in the class and you're learning. The second part, though, is the implementation. So
Yes.
when you leave from in front of me and you walk out that door, what are you going to actually implement?
Mm-hmm.
That is the biggest part. The education where you sitting in and you loving Will sitting up there teaching you and everything. That's just the small part of it. The biggest part is that 80% you walk out that door with and actually put to work for yourself.
Yeah, it's the theory application thing, right? So think
Mhm.
of in a college setting, you're going in, you're listening to the professor teach. That's the theory. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to take that and apply it to whatever the situation may be? So,
Right.
I mean, I'm very pro electrotherapy, like shock the shit out of them and they'll actually go do it. Um, I'm pretty sure that's illegal, but nonetheless, let's just see what happens.
So how much of that algebra did you use from high school that your teachers told you that you wouldn't have to use after you got out of
I
high
know,
school?
right? I think literally at this point, and no matter all the business I've owned in the past, I think just basic subtraction, addition, a little bit of division, some percentages, maybe a little bit of fractions here and there. But it's I have no theorems going on at all.
So no geometry, no high level calculus, none of
No,
that.
no, no, no. I can't remember the last time I had to really pull statistics when I could just Google it.
Right.
No, I'm not taking away from anybody in the audience that's, because there's a math professor right now that's really pissed at us. No, I think it's great. It is helpful and it has its place. But
My name's Liam Pierce, by the
right,
way.
right. Listen, if you guys text me, I can give you Wilbur's address. I'm just saying. But see how quick we just turned on each other. This isn't going to work out well. But when you're looking at it, the 90 days of pain or a 12-week year or taking time off. And, a lot of times people will say, oh, I need time off. I need a month. As long
Mhm.
as you can handle and accept the positive or negative repercussions of taking a month off of your job, then do that. But like most people that are entrepreneurial or work, in a standard job, having that time off can really screw you up. Right now, imagine though, if you worked Monday through Friday, just using it as an example, as a real estate agent, let's use that because I know that's most of our audience currently. So if you work Monday through Friday in this business and you stopped every day at 2 p.m., which is a really good time to stop, as long as you're, achieving everything you need to do per day, and you took the rest of the day off to just spend time with your family, read a book, clean your house, take a walk, watch Pornhub, whatever it is, like I slid that in there. Whatever it may be, everybody right now is going back and like, what the hell did he just slide in there? Whatever it may be, though, that is a refreshing mini vacation. That is a great time to just breathe and recharge your batteries for the next day so you can bring it, and you can fluctuate that. You can do, like, if you're doing chunk scheduling, which they do talk about time blocking and whatnot in a 12-week year. But if you do chunking, and that would make sense, you can Google it. But if you do chunking, say Monday, and most of your chunking is done in the morning, and then Tuesday, all your chunking is done in the afternoon, you're creating a nice change of pace. Because the problem with scheduling is everybody tries to get a consistent schedule every single day, and they try to do it 100%. Well, guess what? You'll never do it 100%. You want to aim for 80% perfect. That's it. And when you first start out with scheduling, if you get 1% better every single day, that's a massive improvement. If you get 3 steps ahead each day, that's a massive improvement. Because here in the United States specifically, we look at the bigger goals, the bigger achievements. Well, there's no such thing when you look at it. They're made up of smaller achievements and smaller things, but we don't take the time to celebrate it or slow down to recognize it.
That's right. So let's talk about this. When you take time off, what do?
Well, in the
like small and large. Like what do you do to say, okay, I'm gonna unplug and I'm gonna go have some fun and I'm gonna recharge my batteries?
In the beginning, I still worked. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do less work, especially when I launched the coaching business, which is now next week it's going to be a year, so that's pretty damn fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
congrats.
Officially a year on January. On July 17th. So that's pretty damn cool. LiamPierceCoaching.com, just plugging that in there. Anyway, in the beginning, when I first launched it, it was getting all the side projects, right? Because I'm wearing 17 different hats. I'm the marketing, I'm designing everything. I'm planning out coursework too to tie in. That way I give more value back and all these other things. But now it's, if I'm taking the time off, I'm going to go spend time with my kids. My kids are in online private school, so I have that ability. Even if they were in regular school, when they come home, we're going to spend time, or we're going to go play some board games. We're trying to learn how to play Dungeons and Dragons. Not going very well, mind you. It's way too much work. We'll be awesome once we get there. I'll go work out or watch binge a TV show, watch a movie with the family, play video games, just sit on my patio and just listen to nature and just kind of recenter myself. But that's where I'm at now. Because even though I take Wednesdays off, if I have a project to work on, the thing is, I don't consider that work. This is a passion thing for me. So I'll schedule part of time blocking and chunking. I'll take a desktop timer and I turn it on for 30 minutes, an hour. And that's all I do just for that on a Wednesday, at 30 minutes to an hour. And then after that, I don't touch it. I come back up for it.
I think that the part you mentioned where it's not work for you, I think that is where we sort of blur the lines. Because if you actually have passion and you love what you do, the time goes by so quickly, right? So you're not even thinking that you're working hard, but you are, right? Because you have this passion for it. And like the days, the weeks, the hours are gone. You get up in the morning, like I said, at 4, and you go all day long, and you just reset the next day, and you're not thinking, I need to take a break.
Yeah. Yep. And even that's a big catch-22 as well, right? Because you get on that rotation, and that's why, like, I use a big desktop timer. You can go on Amazon, look up a desktop timer. It has a digital format. And what I do is whenever I'm working on a passion project or just anything in general, I turn that timer on for the time limit I set myself on my schedule. And when it goes off, I immediately stop. I make a note where I left off and I stop. Yeah, that's how you stop yourself from overworking, even in passion, because passion will burn you out. You can love it and you're putting all your heart, soul, and everything into it, but you can still burn out. And then what happens is in about a week and a half of that, you start disliking it and you lose the passion.
Right.
You lose the drive. And then you're like, damn, I got to make calls today. No, I don't want to make calls. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yep. It changes your whole attitude.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's, controlling the time, setting the timer. Those are small tips. And again, a lot of this stuff is discussed in 12-week year. I do it in some of the courses I teach through my website. I do it with my clients, every one of them. I wish I can get a custom desktop timer because that would be a great selling point. But unfortunately, I can't find a company. So if anybody's listening has a company, let's do business. But they're like $20 on Amazon and they're a big dial. And what you do is whenever you set that desktop timer in accordance with your time blocking, you put every other device on do not disturb. And I know someone right now is like, well, I'll just use my phone. No. That thing's designed to be a distraction. Put on do not disturb, even if you're making phone calls. So you're doing the one thing that you've scheduled during that time, right? Because what was the statistic? I don't have it in front of me, but I believe if you spent 18 minutes a day, every day for a year, you're better than anybody in that field by like 92, 93%, something like that. It's insane. So imagine only 18 minutes a day. Most people will watch commercials for more than 18 minutes in a day.
That's right.
How crazy is that, right? So when people are studying for tests or whatever, do an 18-minute interval. Obviously, if you're test crunching, you got to dump more time in that. But if you pace it out properly, 18 minutes. That's pretty damn.
Well, the name of the show is Two Squirrels. It's 18 minutes of focus, right? How do you focus on one thing for 18 minutes? Because there's going to be a lot of distractions coming your way, but those 18 minutes can change your life,
They
right?
They can. So one thing we talked about, the title of this episode is how to come up for air, right? Will, what are some of the things you do? Because I know you go hard and everything like that. And I know it's something you're trying to work on, but what are some of the maybe top 3 things, techniques even, that you do in order to take a break, to come up for air? What would you say?
I like to plan. Like I'm a planner. So I plan my vacations, I plan my time off. Like I schedule everything far out. And I make it like a part of my goal. So and then I'm spur of the moment too. So if Abigail comes to me, Abigail's my daughter, by the way. If Abby comes to me and she says, "Hey, I want to take a vacation," then maybe I'm thinking, "Oh, we'll drive to the beach this weekend and do something spur of the moment." Yeah. So that's why I take the weekends off, or attempt to, for the most part. And I'm pretty successful at getting the weekends off because, again, I prep my clients to know, hey, on the weekends, that's daddy-daughter time, right?
Yep, I like it.
So I pre-plan. I'm a planner. That's what I do.
So Will's tip, essentially, his golden nut. Look at that, I got it right.
Awesome.
His golden nut is to plan, which I think is amazing because most of us, we think we plan, but we really don't, right? We may put some stuff on a calendar, we never look at it. We're like, oh, this is great. This is Sunday night. Look at all the stuff I'm going to get done during the week. And by the end of the week, they go back and look. If they even go back and look, they're like, damn, I forgot like 96% of that.
Well, the first part is actually putting it in the calendar, which most of us don't do. Like it's a thought in your head that never gets on paper. And we have this saying, if it's not written down, it doesn't exist, right?
Yes.
So most of us never make that transition, and we forget to show up. We're not on time. We have to get these reminders. I mean, it's a lot of that.
Yep. And I agree. I think planning is one of the best avenues. And, I guess one of my techniques is on a Sunday evening, if you are trying to really be structured at work or even in your personal life, is pick some main achievements that you want to achieve for that week and then build your schedule around that. So like Will said, if you're planning on a weekend with your kids or your friends or your family or whatever, or even just yourself, that could be your main achievement for the week. And you're going to design your schedule to knock out everything else. So that way on the weekend, you're not stressing, you're just absorbed in the moment. Because after all, life is only a collection of moments. Why not enjoy them?
Right. And, I talked to a few people this week and they were thinking about not doing certain things. Like I had one person I talked to and she was like, oh, well, I was going to go to the lake, and I was going to learn how to jet ski. She'd never been
Okay.
jet skiing before, and and the way she was talking to me, it was like she was trying to talk herself out of it. So I said, "No, that's something you've never done before. Go do that. Go have some fun. Like it doesn't have to be work, work, work all the time."
Yep.
And then I had another person talking to me actually this morning, and she was thinking that maybe she don't go to the concert with her brother, and her brother was kind of sad because she was trying to do some other things. And I asked her, like, why wouldn't you go? Like, that's something that is important to him, and you only live once,
Yes.
right? So I mean, take advantage, go have some fun, and then come back, because she works a lot, like us. So take advantage, go have some fun, then come back and plug in again.
Yep. And I like that you said you only live once. And every time someone says that, I think I'm like, actually, you only die once. You live every day.
That's right. That's why me and you friends, right?
So there's my golden nugget, everyone, is that you only die once, you live every day. And I said nugget, damn it, golden nut. I'll get it down one of these days. I'm going to put that like on my screen. But no, I think, one thing I want to leave everybody on, and then I'll go to Will, is literally when you're trying to come up for air, I think, in my opinion, the biggest thing you can do is give yourself permission to do so. And you got to say it out loud. You got to write it down. You got to concrete it. So give yourself permission that it's okay to come up for air.
I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank everybody for listening to us. Every time we released a podcast, or apparently this video side on YouTube, vodcast. That's a new thing. It's kind of weird. It's like Calendly. Oh, I said it a little bit better. Everybody that's listening, don't forget to follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/the2squirrels. And we're on Instagram, the 2squirrel-pod. And then we are on YouTube. You just search the 2 Squirrels. Awesome. Well, hey, I'm Liam Pierce, as you guys know, with my awesome friend, Wild Will Lane. So hit us up anytime you see us out there. All right, everyone. Enjoy. Until next time.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to the YouTube channel.